Hello, movie mavens! Welcome back to another video on the B Movies channel. My name is Bailey, and I put the B in movies. I hope that all of you are having a wonderful week. I am having a really good week. Just to dive into Bailey Babbles right up top. I'm potentially thinking about maybe starting to date again, which is wild. There's this mixer thing coming up at the end of June that I'm considering going to. But for me, there's like this weird juxtaposition where I'm someone like, I love my life the way that it is. Like, I love being able to do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. That's why, like, I already know, like, I am not ready to settle down right now. And so I go back and forth where I'm like, do I want a relationship? Do I not want a relationship? For me, like, I'm not big on casual dating. That's just me personally. I see nothing wrong with it. That's just something for me that it's not my jam. So I'm like, do I want to try to start dating again? Do I not? I've not been on a date, like, for full disclosure, since in like 3.5 years. That was the last time I went on a date. And so, I don't know. I just go back and forth on it because I am a fiercely independent person. So I don't really feel like I need somebody. And I'm like, do I want a partner or do I just want to, like, maybe hire a dog sitter / someone to sometimes, like, come and clean my home. So I don't know. I'll keep y'all posted. That's where I am right now. I'm trying to figure out, my glasses are so fogged up because I've been running around all morning long doing stuff. But yeah, I don't know. So that's where I am this week. But just a note to everybody else, if anyone, because I'm in my early 30s, just to all my single peeps out there, like, please know, A, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being single, and B, there's no specific timeline for your life. Someone else's timeline is not your timeline. It doesn't have to be your timeline. So, yeah, that's my Bailey Babbles for this week. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about starting to date again, but I'm also like, I really like my life and how it is, so I don't know if I want to bring somebody else into the mix. So, I don't know. We will see. So that's where I am. Again, to all my single peeps, I see you. Like, please don't let anybody pressure you into dating. Do it when it feels right for you. And that's my big piece of advice there. So, to kick us off with this week's blog roundup, which, if you are new here, hi, hello. The B Movies channel is a continuation of the B Movies blog, which just lives over at bmovies.blog. We drop new pieces about pop culture, movie reviews, basically everything you can imagine, from Detective Barbie as a video game to movie reviews for new movies like I Saw the TV Glow. And we drop those every Monday through Friday around 10 a.m. CT. As I always say, sometimes WordPress and I get into it and I'm like, girl, I need you to focus. I need you to work with me. But most of the time they are up right at 10 a.m. CT. You can also subscribe and have those sent directly to your inbox. So this week over on the B Movies blog, on Monday we did a spotlight on Molly Shannon. I think Molly Shannon is one of the funniest people alive, but she's also just a really good actor. Like, if her scene in Promising Young Woman, she's only in there for a couple minutes, but it's this really pivotal and crucial scene in that movie. On Tuesday, we talked about nostalgic YouTube videos. See, I was in high school from 06 to 2010, so, like, I was right in that sweet spot of, like, shoes, muffins, llamas with hats, Charlie the Unicorn, early Smosh, and so I picked 10 of my favorites, as always with a disclaimer, these videos are from the aughts, so fair warning that some of the humor does not hold up. Just bear that in mind when watching. On Wednesday, we talked about female friendship movies. I love, like, don't get me wrong, I love rom-coms, but something I really love is a movie where the focus is on the friendship, as opposed to, like, the love story is either an afterthought, or, like, it's the B storyline, or it's something that our leads overcome. So, things from, like, 9 to 5, Bridesmaids, First Wives Club, I would consider a female friendship movie, because at the end of the day, like, their husbands are garbage. And so, yeah, so a whole list of those. Super excited, really liked doing this one. On Thursday, we talked about cartoons you may have forgotten about. Things like Brace Face, Lloyd in Space, The Weekenders. These cartoons that kind of live in the back of your mind, but you're like, did I make that up? Am I just imagining another cartoon? And you are not. So I picked 10 of my favorites. And then to wrap up our impromptu nostalgia series for now, we have 10 of the electronics from my childhood and teenage years that I miss. Things like your TV VCR combos, Zunes, Video Nows, and so all of those are in there for you. Sorry, my allergies are horrible today. So all of those await you. So just to recap, this week over on the B Movies blog, my goodness, Molly Shannon Spotlight, nostalgic YouTube videos, female friendship movies, cartoons you may have forgotten about, and nostalgic electronics. So now let's go ahead and knock out our Bite Size Sunday teaser. For those who don't know, Bite Size Sundays are little mini reviews that live over on our Instagram, which is just at B Movies channel, same as our YouTube. And those reviews exclusively live over there. I usually post them Sunday mornings around 8 or 9 a.m. CT, so just keep your eyes peeled for those. Sorry, y'all. And so the hint for this week, which you can only get the hint here on YouTube, it's a perk of subscribing to the channel, is oh baby baby, oh baby baby. So just think about, oh my gosh, you know what, it's fine. If you didn't know that I basically paint on my eyebrows because my eyebrows are so light IRL, now you know because it's smeared, it's fine. We're just gonna not worry about it. Think about new movies that have come out. I saw this movie in a triple feature the other day. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a beautiful movie, so I'm excited for y'all to hear my thoughts. So that should do us for housekeeping. So let's go ahead and dive into today's deep dive. And so for today's deep dive, I decided to use our nostalgia series as a jumping off point. And so I've chosen 10 discontinued products that I wish that they would bring back. One or two of them they are bringing back / have brought back in a capacity, but it's just not the same as the originals. So the first thing up is Dr. Pepper Lip Smackers. So for full disclosure, this one hurts because I didn't realize it had been discontinued. Okay, other side. Oh my god, I'm mirrored, for those who don't know. I'm mirrored. Okay, you know, whatever. Life has imperfections. We're just not gonna worry about it. So I actually, a few days ago, I was like, oh, I want a Dr. Pepper Lip Smacker, because I had been watching something, and then I gotten on Etsy, and this one girl sells, like, real, like, usable lip smacker earrings. Anyway, it was a whole rabbit hole, and I was like, I want a Dr. Pepper Lip Smacker, like, really bad. They discontinued them. I did not know that, and so this one really hurts. So you can still buy, like, basically all the other sodas, so I'm really confused why Dr. Pepper got discontinued, but if they could bring that back, that would be dope. So next up, we have the Snapple Element sodas, and so I know that they brought these back. I've tried them. They're not as good as and what I mean by the Snapple Element, like the rain, fire, they have like the different elements. And the ones that I had growing up that were in like the glass bottle, I loved the rain one, and that's what I'm talking about. I just miss them because the new ones are just not the same, and the old ones probably had like more chemicals and stuff in it, and that's why. I don't know, that's just me speculating, but to me it's just not the same. Next up we have Yogos. And when I tell you, I was obsessed with Yogos as a kid and as a teenager. I loved Yogos. I can't tell you how many boxes I went through of these as a kid, and like I promise I will keep I'm not sure who makes Yogos. I don't think it's General Mills, but I don't know why that's my knee jerk. I will keep y'all in business if you bring back Yogos. I promise you, because I miss Yogos so bad. For those who don't know, They were these little kind of like yogurty candy bite things that were just somehow incredible, and I will keep you in business. Next up, we have Altoid Sours. So these are allegedly coming back from the same company that brought back Cream Savers. So fingers crossed that they get a wide release. They're being called Retro Sours, from my understanding. So I really hope they taste the same and like they basically just take all the skin off the top of your mouth like the originals, because I loved Altoid Sours. Next up, we have Swoops, which are some of my. I think about Swoops at least once a week. And I used to get them in my stocking at Christmas. I can still hear they did a parody of Whoop There It Is and made it Swoop There It Is. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, you know, like the Pringles little chip packs and things that they used to sell. I don't know if they still sell them. That would they're like the snack size and they would fit in like your lunch boxes and stuff. They are Pringles shaped, but they're chocolate. And they had like Reese's. I think they had York Peppermint Patty, just regular chocolate. So they had all these different chocolates, but they were shaped like Pringles and came in little Pringle size snack containers. And I miss them so much. Next up, we have Ritz Bits S'mores, and I'm salivating thinking about these because I'm a s'mores girl, and I am also like salted caramel is one of my favorite ice creams, and gelatos. I'm a huge salty and sweet mix fan, and so I would mess up a box of these if they brought these back. I would mess up a box. Next up, we have the Caribou Coffee Bars. So I don't know. This one, I'm a little unsure if it's just like they're not widely available anymore. It's a regional thing. Not sure. But the folks who do Caribou Coffee made granola bars that were like vanilla latte, caramel macchiato. And I ate them for breakfast or a snack all the time as a teenager. And I loved them and I miss them. They're so good. Next up, we have Hershey's Kissables, which are basically they look like an intrusive thought that you can eat because they look like Legos or like little plastic pieces. So they're Hershey's Kisses, but they kind of have an M&M shell around them that sometimes would be a little hard. But I miss Hershey's Kissables. They were so good. One of the best are the Philadelphia cheesecake bars. And so with these are, you know, in the apocalypse movies where like an elder is sharing info about like the before times with children, Philadelphia cheesecake bars would be something that I would mention. They were so good. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, they are like, so think like a dessert bar or like a granola bar, but a little bit thicker. And it was cheesecake with a graham cracker crust at the bottom. And they were so good. And last up, Fruitopia. Did you even go to high school in the aughts if your school cafeteria didn't have at least one Fruitopia machine? I miss it. Fruitopia, if I tried it now, it probably would not be that revolutionary. It would probably just taste like a fruity soda. But at the time, Fruitopias were the bomb. Like, they were the bomb when I was growing up. So those are 10 things that are discontinued that I wish would come back, or that I hope, like I said, a couple of them, you know, you can get the Snapple elements, but they're just not the same. And then the Altoid Sours, I hope are as good as the original. So fingers crossed. But those are 10 snacks that I wish they would bring back. So next up, let's pop into our special features for today. So special features, this is the section in the video reserved for updates on our favorite analog horror series, favorite horror ARGs, things I am going to eventually talk about on the blog, or things I may not ever talk about. And just fun things that I find that I want to share with you. So first up, I want to talk about Patrick McDonald's new short, I Live in Your House. So, as some of you may know, Patrick McDonald was a former writer at Smosh, and this short also stars Amanda Leigh Canto from Smosh, as well as Angela Giratana from Smosh. Patrick is also in it. I loved this short. It's about 14 minutes long. It gave me big Wham City vibes with some like Tim and Eric's bedtime stories. For those who know me, Tim and Eric is very hit or miss for me, but I loved bedtime stories. Love all of bedtime stories. And that's the vibe that I got. Like, very Wham City, very Tim and Eric. And I love how it plays on the fear of, for a lot of us, being alone in your house is not the fear. The fear is that you aren't alone in your house when you should be alone in your house. And there's also a lot of play on how anxiety can make us spiral. And I think Amanda is such a good actor. I think she and Patrick play so well together within this film. There's also this coyote monologue that Patrick does, and it's chef's kiss. It's so good. I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's so excellently written, and Patrick, I believe, wrote it all as well. So I definitely recommend this one. If you love surreal humor and things like Greener Grass and Wham City stuff, I would highly recommend it. I will link the short below. And so please give it a watch and subscribe to Patrick's channel. I really like this short. I think it's very strong. And honestly, I would love to see him direct more shorts like this. Or even, I think he could do a really cool series. So, that's I Live in Your House. I'll link it below. Definitely give it a watch. Subscribe to Patrick. All that good stuff. So next up, let's change the tone. Okay. My full review will be up Monday on the B Movies blog. But let's start with the positive. So I did a triple feature the other day of Furiosa, which I really, really enjoyed. Fury Road is still my favorite. I think Fury Road is lightning in a bottle. That movie's just so freaking good. But I really enjoyed Furiosa. I think if you like Fury Road, you will like Furiosa. But it's just, Fury Road is still my favorite. I saw Babes, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was a beautiful movie. I thought, even though I couldn't relate to like the children aspects because I don't have children, I think there's a lot of commentary on growing up and how adult friendships evolve over time. And then the last movie I saw. So to paint the picture for you, I sat down and I was the movies that I went to, it was very, it was a weekday, and so there weren't a lot of people in the theater. I was one of 5 to 6 people in each show. And so I was chatting with my server because no one else had come in yet. And I had told him, I was like, yeah, this is the last movie of a triple feature. And he told me, he's like, okay, so like if you started with Furiosa and Babes, he was like, I make your own decisions. But he was like, your triple feature is about to take a nosedive. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I ended my triple feature. Ladies, gentlemen, and all of my non-binary friends, I ended my triple feature with The Strangers Chapter 1. And I was very excited. I was very naive. Because I love the first 2 Strangers. I will even be so bold as to say, I don't think it's a better movie. I watch Strangers Pray at Night more than I rewatch The Strangers. And I think they're both great. But Strangers Pray at Night, that pool scene, oh, it's so good. So I love this series, right? Big fan of this series. And I love the idea of a staggered 3-part storyline. Hi, hello. I rewatch the Fear Street trilogy all the time. I think it's a really cool concept to break this up into 3 movies and have a continued storyline. So I was like, okay. Looking forward to it. And before I say anything else, I just want to give my trademark disclaimer. I have nothing but respect for the filmmaking process. I think it's amazing to put yourself out there as a filmmaker. Just because I don't like a movie does not make it a bad movie. Just because I like a movie doesn't make it a good movie. That's why movies are fun to talk about, because art is subjective. Okay. So to lay all of that out, this movie is not very good. First and foremost, I love Madeline Petch. I think she's a great actor. I loved her as Cheryl Blossom. I think she's great. But she and the other lead, who I'm blanking on his name right now, have zero chemistry. And in a horror movie where you only have two main characters going against the antagonist, like facing those antagonists, you have to care about these characters. You need to like feel that emotion that one or both of them may not make it out. You need to feel that emotion that these two people who have been dating for 5 years, who are talking about getting married, you want it to feel like your heart is being ripped out. For example, just a recent movie that I just watched. It's like, for example, I love the Soska sisters, and I watched Festival of the Living Dead. I really enjoyed it. You cared about a lot of the, and there were a bunch of characters in that. We had 7 lead actors in that, at least. I personally cried when a character got. You know, and that was a zombie movie where it's clear, yeah, in the zombie movies, like, you know, not everyone makes it out. And that was a zombie film. And there was a character unaliving that, like, broke my heart and I teared up at. I didn't care about these characters at all. And if it's an 80s slasher, that's fine. If it's a big over-the-top modern day slasher, that's fine. But in a film where, like, in The Strangers, and you know, The Strangers Pray at Night, where you, like, make these emotional connections, or, like, Krampus is another one off the top of my head, where, like, Krampus, you have all of these characters, and Krampus, like, rips your heart out, because you get attached to all these characters, and you feel how much they, you know, like, they overcome their differences, and they come to love each other and grow. And this movie just does not have that. And that's fine. I'm not saying we have to care, but in my opinion, in a film where you have 2 characters, you need to care about them. Because even in the original Strangers, like, you care about Kristen, you care about, what's his name? It's Scott Speedman. Like, I can't think of what his name is in the movie. You care about them. In The Strangers Pray at Night, you care about that family. In this film, you just don't care about them. And yeah, like, to me, there is no chemistry there outside of they're 2 very attractive people that have been put together. Additionally, this movie hits every single trope. And not in, like, a Scream meta way where, you know, like, you know, we have Sydney at the beginning being like, you know, she should be running out the front door, instead runs upstairs. Sydney does that later in the film. It's not like that. It's not meta. There's not commentary. It's, you know, we're crawling and we slam our hand down on a nail that we don't see. We start speaking its full volume when we are within earshot of people. There is one point where Dude Man, it's established he has asthma, he drops his inhaler in the scuffle, breathes into a water bottle, but I mean crinkles it to smithereens while he's trying to hide from the strangers. It's yeah, but like it's almost, to be very honest, it's almost laughable, because it's just every single trope is hit, but it's not in a fun way. And I have a third critique. We'll leave that for Monday's review because it is a little bit of a spoiler. I do have to spoil it a little bit to give you the full critique, but this one, like, I am a completionist. I will go see the other 2 just because of who I am as a person. I don't know if we'll talk about them more if I get this mad again. I'm not as riled up as Back to Black, but We'll see. I'm hoping that maybe it gets better because I know that there is a lot of groundwork to lay, but at the same time, to go back to the Fear Street trilogy, the Fear Street trilogy was a 3 week long event and it came out of the gate hot. And in its defense, it's like loosely based off of R.L. Stine's Fear Street series, right? But like it's not a part of a film franchise. Like The Strangers already had IP to base this off of. Fear Street didn't, and Fear Street did the same thing and told the story over 3 movies and did one hell of a job doing it. So I want to give it the benefit of the doubt that maybe the other two will be better. So we'll see. But that's just, again, I will always encourage you to see things for yourself, make decisions for yourself, but just for me, this movie was a hard no. So last up, let's get into our subtitles, which are just little pieces of pop culture news from around the internet that I love and want to share with you. So first up, we will once again be revisiting Mockingbird Lane with a dark Munsters TV reboot titled 1313 from producer James Wan. Super stoked to see that. To be honest, I really didn't mind Rob Zombie's Munsters. I just thought the pacing was insane. I thought the pacing was so wild. That's my only really big critique about it is it sometimes drags and then it goes 90 miles an hour for like the second half. And I'm like, okay. So next up, the Dexter prequel series is on the way. It's going to be called Dexter Original Sin with Patrick Gibson as Dexter, Christian Slater as Harry, which I'm very excited to see that, and Molly Brown as Deb. Blumhouse has announced that they'll be rebooting the My Bloody Valentine franchise. Little nervous. I don't hate the Jensen Ackles one, the 3D one. I think it's very silly. But I love the original My Bloody Valentine, like the 1981. I love the original My Bloody Valentine. So I really hope. A little nervous to touch beloved horror movies, but we'll see what happens. Last week, I forgot to mention, but 16 Candles turned 40 last week, and woof. 16 Candles is a few years older than I am, but like, woof, that was a rough one to hear. Next up, the Conjuring series from Max seems to be in production or post-production. I'm not 100% sure. I just saw some people posting what seems to be the promo artwork on my Instagram. That's all the news I have right now on it, but I will keep y'all posted. The title of the latest Knives Out film has been announced, Wake Up Dead Man. And so far, the cast announced is Josh O'Connor, who you might know from Challengers, which we already know is one of my favorite movies that has come out this year. Andrew Scott in another one of my favorite movies of this year, All of Us Strangers. Jeremy Renner, beloved hero, and Kaylee Spaney. So I'm excited to see where this goes. My controversial opinion is I think Glass Onion is better than the original Knives Out. My issue with the original Knives Out is it was so hyped to me, and I was at a point where like I couldn't afford to go to the movies to see it. I had to wait until it came out on Redbox because I could spare the $1 for it. And I was working somewhere that had a Redbox machine, so it was really easy for me to return. And so by the time I saw Knives Out, I was like, it's good, but I thought it was a little bit overhyped, but I loved Glass Onion, and I know that is controversial because a lot of people don't think Glass Onion is good / as good as the first Knives Out. So I'm actually really excited for this one. A new body horror movie called The Substance will hit theaters in September, starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, which I'm very stoked about. From the promo art, it's honestly kind of giving me the Stuff / Neon Demon-y vibes, so we'll see how that goes. So the Death Becomes Her reboot rumors we've been hearing for a long time might actually have some legs. It seems like that reboot starring Kate Hudson, Anne Hathaway, Robert Downey Jr., and Lady Gaga might actually be happening. And I'm not sure if it's something like we all wished into fruition or if they just weren't ready to announce it, but I'm seeing those rumors get a lot of traction that it's actually happening. So that's an ongoing story. So I will update y'all as I have more info. In one of my favorite pieces of news this week, Mike Flanagan has confirmed that he will be writing, producing, and directing a new Exorcist film. it's apparently like the quote was something along the lines of like take the franchise in an entirely new direction. I love Mike Flanagan. I love I've watched all of his series. I think he is a powerhouse. And so I'm really excited to see where this goes because I think if someone can save this franchise after The Exorcist Believer, I think it's Mike Flanagan. And I think that his tonality will actually lend itself really well to a new Exorcist film. So I'm actually very excited about this. Next up, Nicholas. I will never be able to say his last name right. Nicholas from The Idea of You. Nicholas, what is it, like Galitzine? I'll never be able to say his last name right. He has been named as the He-Man in the new Masters of the Universe movie. So he will be our He-Man in the upcoming live action Masters of the Universe, which of course I'm gonna go see it. Like don't get it twisted. I'm gonna go see it. If I seem a little shady, I'm not. I will absolutely go see it. And then finally, another piece of my favorite news from around the internet. Hacks will be coming back for a 4th season. If you're not watching Hacks, in my opinion, it is one of the best shows on streaming right now. I think Hacks is absolutely incredible. And the season 3 finale just dropped. So if you are someone who prefers for all the episodes to be up to watch it, they are officially, this whole season is up, so you can watch everything in its completion right now. And season 4 will be coming soon. So that will do us for today. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Lisa_Frankenstein_. Be sure to follow Elliot on Instagram at reading.with.red. Follow us on Instagram at BMovies Channel, same as our YouTube. We do a blog roundup over there every week. We post daily links to the blog coming out that day. That's where we post bite-sized Sundays. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't subscribed already. It's free. Feel free to give us a like if you feel so inclined, and leave a comment if you're feeling frisky. And I will see all of you next Friday, and all that's left to do is fade to black.